Dear students, brothers and sisters, there is a principle in Shaolin training that applies to every aspect of life. Focus on yourself and work hard in silence. Let me guide you through 4 essential teachings that reflect this wisdom. In this world where everything demands our attention, where noise drowns out silence, and where everyone seems to shout louder just to be heard, the path to self-mastery begins with focus. It is easy to be pulled in every direction, to listen to what others say about you, to chase approval, to compare yourself to those around you. But the real practice, the true discipline, begins when you learn to turn inward and focus on yourself. This is not selfishness, it is clarity. It is the quiet decision to stop scattering your energy and instead gather it within. It is the conscious choice to notice the mind's constant chatter and bring it to stillness, like water settling after a storm. Focus is the sharpening of the mind, the alignment of thought with intention. It is not enough to say, "I want to be better." You must align your every breath with that desire. You must protect your attention like a candle against the wind, shielding it from the noise that tries to extinguish it. Every moment you give away your focus to distractions, to doubts, to what others think, you give away your power. The power to shape your own destiny, the power to walk your own path. In Shaolin practice, this focus is trained every day, not just in meditation, not just in physical movement, but in every action, every word, every breath. When we focus, we commit fully. We are present. We are not half-hearted, not divided between what we say we want and what we actually do. And in this presence, in this focus, lies the beginning of mastery. Because when you focus fully on yourself, you begin to see your own habits, your own patterns, your own resistance. You see where you are strong and where you are weak, and only then can you begin to train with precision. It is like a warrior sharpening his sword. Without focus, the blade remains dull. With focus, it becomes a tool of purpose. But this focus is not forced. It is not about tightening the mind like a clenched fist. It is about allowing everything else to fall away so that what remains is simple, clear, and true. It is the natural settling of attention when you stop fighting the world outside and start listening to the world within. This focus is a practice, a daily return. Because even the most disciplined mind can be drawn into distraction. It is not about never being distracted, it is about noticing when you are and gently, firmly bringing yourself back. This is not a punishment, it is training. The same way you would train your body in physical practice, you train your mind to return to focus. With each return you strengthen it. With each return you become more grounded, more clear, and from this focus, everything else follows. Your discipline deepens. Your practice becomes sincere. Your actions become aligned with your values. Without focus, even the most powerful techniques are wasted. Without focus, even the strongest intentions are lost. But with focus, even simple actions become powerful. A single breath, taken with full awareness, can be more transformative than 1,000 words spoken without attention. A single step, walked with full presence, can carry you further than 100 rushed strides. And so, focus is not just the beginning, it is the foundation. It is the root from which discipline and strength grow. It is the silent agreement you make with yourself to stop giving your energy away to what does not serve you and to invest it fully in what does. This agreement is not loud. It is not something you need to announce. It is something you live. You wake up each day and choose to focus. You notice when your mind wanders and you bring it back. You train your attention like a muscle, knowing that each time you do, you grow stronger. This is the unseen work, the quiet effort that no one applauds. But it is this work that leads to real transformation. And as you practice this focus, you begin to feel something shift within you. The need for approval fades. The desire for external validation weakens. Because you are no longer looking outward for direction. You are anchored within. And this anchoring gives you a sense of calm, a sense of stability that no external force can shake. You become like a mountain, unmoved by the winds of opinion and judgment. This does not mean you become rigid or unfeeling. It means you become steady, grounded, and clear. You respond instead of reacting. You choose your actions based on what is true for you, not what others expect. And in this way, focus becomes not just a practice but a way of being. It becomes the quiet strength that carries you through challenges, the steady flame that lights your way when everything else is uncertain. This is the beginning of self-mastery. This is the path to inner peace. And it begins with a single decision: to focus on yourself and work hard in silence. Discipline is the path, not the destination, because when you think of discipline as a goal, you misunderstand its true purpose. Discipline is not something you achieve like a medal or a trophy. It is the way you walk the path every day. It is the quiet practice of showing up for yourself again and again without needing recognition or applause. Discipline is not rigid. It is not a chain that binds you. It is the freedom to choose your actions based on what serves you best. It is the clarity to know what you need to do and the courage to do it no matter how you feel. In Shaolin training, we do not practice discipline to prove our strength to others. We do it because we know that without discipline, there is no path. Without discipline, there is no practice, there is no growth. When you wake up early to train, when you choose to meditate instead of giving in to distraction, when you return to your breath even when your mind wants to wander, these small choices build a foundation that carries you forward. This is discipline. Not as an achievement, but as a way of being. It becomes part of you. It becomes your nature, like the roots of a tree growing deeper into the earth. Discipline grounds you. It keeps you steady when the world around you is in chaos. It gives you a clear direction when your mind is full of doubts and fears. And the beauty of this is that discipline does not have to be loud. It does not have to be harsh. It can be gentle. It can be quiet. It can be the simple decision to return to your practice every day, no matter how small, no matter how imperfect. Because every time you do, you strengthen your resolve, you become more aligned with your true self. And this is where true power comes from, not from forcing yourself, not from punishing yourself, but from choosing to stay committed even when it is hard, even when no one is. Watching this quiet discipline builds resilience. It shapes your character. It teaches you patience and humility. It shows you that the path is not about reaching a certain point. It is about how you walk it every step, every breath, every moment. When you embrace discipline as the path, you begin to let go of the need for perfection. You understand that mistakes are part of the journey, that setbacks are not failures, but opportunities to return to your practice with greater awareness. And this makes you stronger because you are no longer thrown off course by the ups and downs of life. You remain steady like a mountain, unmoved by the winds of change. And in this steadiness, you find freedom. The freedom to choose your response, the freedom to act with clarity and purpose, the freedom to focus on what truly matters. And this is where discipline transforms from something you do to something you are. It becomes the way you live, the way you breathe, the way you think and move. It becomes the silent strength that carries you forward without needing to prove yourself to anyone, without needing external validation. You simply do the work because it is your path, it is your choice, it is your way. And as you walk this path with discipline, you begin to notice a shift within you. The things that once seemed difficult become natural. The resistance that once held you back begins to dissolve. The mind becomes clearer, the body becomes stronger, the heart becomes steadier, and you realize that the reward is not in the destination, it is in the journey itself. It is in the quiet satisfaction of knowing you have given your best, that you have shown up fully for. yourself. And this is the essence of discipline. It is not about achieving a certain result. It is about becoming a certain kind of person. A person who is steady and clear and strong. A person who can face challenges with calm and clarity. A person who does not waver in the face of obstacles but meets them with quiet determination. And this kind of discipline is not something you can fake, it is not something you can force, it grows from within. It comes from your own commitment to yourself, from your own decision to stay the course no matter what. And this decision is made not once, but every day, every moment, with every breath and every step. And this is how you become unshakable, not because you are trying to impress others, not because you are chasing some external goal, but because you have made a silent agreement with yourself to walk the path with discipline and integrity. And this agreement is what carries you forward. It is what transforms your practice from something you do to something you are. And in this transformation, you find a deep sense of peace, a deep sense of strength that no one can take away. This is the power of discipline as the path, not the destination. This is the way of self-mastery. Focus on yourself and work hard in silence. True strength is built in silence, because the loudness of the world often tries to convince you that strength must be seen, must be heard. But the deepest strength grows quietly beneath the surface, unseen, uncelebrated. It is like the roots of a tree that grow deeper and stronger with every passing year, even as the branches sway in the wind. Without the depth of those roots, the tree would fall no matter how tall it grows. The same is true for you. Your strength comes not from how much noise you make, not from how much recognition you receive, but from the silent work you do when no one is watching, when no one is there to applaud your efforts. It is in these moments of silence that you train your mind to be steady, your body to be resilient, your heart to be calm. This is where true strength is born, because silence is not emptiness, it is space. It is space for reflection, for growth, for the quiet realization of who you are and what you are capable of in Shaolin training. We do not chase after the approval of others. We do not perform for applause. We practice in silence because we know that the real transformation happens away from the noise. It happens in the quiet moments, when you push through the discomfort, when you choose to return to your breath, when you stay with the practice, even when your mind wants to give up. It is in these moments that you build inner strength. The kind of strength that cannot be taken away, that cannot be shaken by the opinions of others, because it is rooted in your own effort, in your own commitment. And this kind of strength is not about how much you can lift or how fast you can run. It is about how steady you can remain when everything around you is shifting. It is about how calmly you can face challenges, how clearly you can see your own mind, and how gently you can guide yourself back to the path when you have wandered. True strength does not shout, it does not demand attention, it simply is. It radiates from within like a quiet fire that warms without burning. This strength is cultivated in silence, because it is in silence that you can hear your own thoughts, your own fears, your own hopes. It is in silence that you can face yourself without distraction, and in doing so you become stronger, not because you have conquered something outside yourself, but because you have made peace with what is inside you, have faced your own doubts and insecurities, and you have chosen to keep going. This is not easy, but it is simple. It is the quiet choice to stay the course, to keep practicing, to keep showing up, even when it feels difficult, even when no one else sees the effort you are making. And over time, this quiet effort builds an unshakable strength, the kind of strength that does not rely on the external world, but comes entirely from within. This is why in Shaolin we value silence not as emptiness, but as fullness, as potential, as the space where transformation happens. When you work hard in silence, you are not seeking praise, you are not looking for recognition, You are simply doing what needs to be done because it is your path, because it is your way. And in this simple practice you become stronger, not in the way the world measures strength, but in the way that truly matters, in the strength of your mind, in the steadiness of your heart, in the clarity of your intention. This strength allows you to face challenges with grace, to meet obstacles with patience, to move through life with a quiet confidence that does not waver. This strength does not need to be announced, it does not need to be displayed, it is felt, it is known within. And this knowing is enough. It gives you the quiet assurance that no matter what comes your way, you will meet it with steadiness and clarity. This is true strength, not the kind that seeks validation, not the kind that needs to be seen, but the kind that is built in silence, nurtured in practice, and carried with you always. This is the strength that comes from focusing on yourself, from working hard in silence, from walking your path with discipline and humility. And in this silence you discover something even greater than strength. You discover peace. A peace that cannot be disturbed by the noise of the world. A peace that comes from knowing you are walking your path with integrity and purpose. This is the strength that no one can give you and no one can take away. This is the strength that is yours alone. Focus on yourself and work hard in silence. Walking the path of self-mastery does not require an audience, because the journey is yours alone. It is not for others to witness or to judge. It is not a performance, it is a practice that unfolds quietly within you. As you focus on yourself and work hard in silence, you begin to see that the path is not about showing others what you are capable of. It is about realizing your own potential for yourself. When you walk this path with sincerity, you do not need anyone's approval, because the validation that truly matters comes from within. It comes from the simple knowing that you are doing the work, not because you are trying to impress anyone, not because you are seeking recognition, but because it is your path, because it is the right thing to do this. Quiet knowing brings a deep sense of peace, a deep sense of freedom, because you are no longer burdened by the need to be seen or acknowledged. You are no longer tied to the expectations of others. You are simply walking your path steadily, with clarity, with discipline, with integrity. This is where real power lies, not in the display of strength, not in the seeking of praise, but in the quiet, unwavering commitment to yourself. In Shaolin training, we do not practice for the applause of others. We practice for the refinement of the self. Each movement, each breath, each step is a practice in presence, a practice in focus, a practice in discipline. It does not matter who is watching. What matters is that you are present, that you are focused, that you are sincere. Because when you practice with sincerity, you cultivate a strength that is real, a clarity that is deep, a discipline that cannot be shaken by the opinions of others. This is not something that can be faked or forced. It is something that grows naturally from the daily practice of returning to yourself again and again. It is the quiet choice to keep walking your path even when no one is watching, even when no one is applauding, even when the journey feels long and the progress feels slow. Because the real journey is not measured by external milestones. It is measured by your own growth, by your own understanding, by your own transformation. And this transformation is not something you need to announce. It is something you live. It is something you embody. It is reflected in the way you move through the world, in the way you respond to challenges, in the way you show up for yourself and for others. This quiet embodiment of your practice is more powerful than any words, more impactful than any display, because it comes from a place of true alignment. It comes from the deep knowing that you are on your path, that you are doing the work, that you are growing stronger and clearer with each step. And this knowing brings a sense of calm, a sense of stability, a sense of confidence that does not need to be broadcast to the world. It is enough that you know it within yourself. It is enough that you are walking the path with integrity, with sincerity, with focus. and discipline. This is how you build a foundation that is unshakable. This is how you cultivate a presence that is steady and calm. This is how you embody the true essence of self-mastery, not through loud proclamations, not through public displays, but through the quiet, daily practice of showing up for yourself, of doing the work, of returning to your focus, of staying committed to your path. And as you walk this path in silence, you begin to feel the weight of the world lift from your shoulders. You begin to feel a lightness, a freedom that comes from no longer needing to prove yourself to anyone. You are no longer seeking approval. You are no longer tied to the opinions of others. You are free to walk your path on your own terms, in your own time, with your own focus. And in this freedom, you discover a strength that is deeper than any external validation, a strength that is rooted in your own practice, in your own discipline, in your own focus. And this strength is unshakable. It is steady, it is calm, it is clear, and it is yours alone. This is the way of self-mastery. This is the path of focusing on yourself and working hard in silence. This is the quiet strength that grows when you walk your path not for others but for yourself. Because in the end, it is not about how many people saw you. It is about how sincerely you walk the path. It is about how deeply you committed to your own growth. It is about how steadily you focused on what truly matters. This is the path that leads to true freedom, to true strength, to true peace. Focus on yourself and work hard in silence.